Hi.
Welcome to I'm Lila New Shape.
You changed your last name?
No, I don't have one.
Oh.
You go.
I go? Who am me?
You're you.
I'm you,
So,
you say.
Communicate that.
Oh, lady. That's my name.
Yeah. It's too fucking early in this fucking series to... Episode 3. This is episode 3.
I thought we were on episode 5 already.
No.
The big centennial.
We did 2 test recordings.
We did do so in a way, this is episode 5.
No, it's episode 3.
Okay, it's episode 3. Revenge of the Sith.
Sure.
Sure.
Christensen.
And Gretchen. I said Revenge of the...
Yeah.
It don't matter.
I said Hayden Christensen.
Oh, I heard...
Christensen?
No, I heard
Christensen?
Gretchensen.
No.
Man, this is such good
seen
audio.
The movie Jumper?
No, I've never.
You ever seen the movie Jumper with him?
No, have you ever seen the movie Looper?
Those are like the same movie. And Pusher. No, that's Push.
No, yeah, it's Push.
Pusher is the Nicholas Winding. This is incomprehensible.
Hey, let's do more
Mr.
word
Dutchman
association.
Ryan Gosling.
That's...
Pusher Mads Mikkelsen.
You would
Push is Dakota Fanning.
You would
and Chris Evans.
Hold on. You think
From
Mads
Snowpiercer, Bong
Mikkelsen is
Joon-ho.
the Dutchman's Ryan Gosling?
No! Nicholas Winding Refn makes movies with Ryan Gosling, notably Drive and Only God Forgives.
Mm-hmm.
And Mads Mikkelsen is in his movie Pusher.
This is true.
That's what that meant.
And they're both in Death Stranding, which I would like to talk to you about today.
What?
I don't want to. I have no...
Ryan Gosling is not in Death Stranding.
No, I'm talking about Nicholas Winding Refn and Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh.
Is it winding or winding?
I don't fucking know, man.
Is it Refn or
Dutch.
Refn?
Half the time I say the dude's name, I get the middle and last name switched up.
Is it Nicholas or Nicalis?
I don't know.
Neither do I. Audience,
okay,
go out
so
and
speaking
Google.
Of other languages.
Speaking of other languages?
I watched a movie from the Czech New Wave.
Uh-huh.
Called Daisies.
Oh.
1966.
Yeah?
It's one of those movies that whenever I say, oh, I should watch this, people go, oh, I was supposed to see a screening of that, but I didn't go. It's one of those kinds of movies.
Fascinating.
I watched it. It's the second time I've inadvertently watched something from the Czech New Wave. The first time was this movie from I think 1970 called Valerie and Her Week of Wonders, which is about Valerie and her Week of Wonders, but in a much more sinister way than you would expect those wonders to be. It's kind of upsetting for her. I didn't really like. I guess I can't say I didn't like that movie. It didn't I thought it was fascinating, but I didn't like it. But I liked Daisies a lot more. It's this really stylistically inventive film. There's a lot of really interesting chopping and editing and color temporary color grading changes. But it's it's basically just a film about these two girls doing shit, and that sounds fun, but underneath the surface of that, it's kind of about this sense of overconsumption. It's about these two girls kind of just going at it and eating and eating and eating, literally eating. All they do is they scam men for food, and they go do crazy shit to just eat food and throw it all over their bedroom. And it's kind of just about this somewhat joyless, boredom induced consuming for the sake of consumption, which I thought was really interesting. You've seen some movies, right? Anyway, you should watch Daisies 1966. Good movie.
I did watch some movies recently. Okay, so you may know my butch Chris does not like movies, does not watch movies, has no interest to watch movies.
It boggles me.
It boggles the mind. watch this. As soon as I say this, Chris is going to be in the comments and be like, well, lady doesn't read. Which is true, and I'm trying to get better. But that's not important right now. They've had one movie on me for about 3 years. Which is to say, a movie that I have not introduced to them, a movie that they have not shown me, a movie that they watched more or less on their own accord. And that movie is Mouse Hunt. Mouse Hunt is
That's the one where the mouse.
That's the one with the mouse, directed by Gore Verbinski.
Wait, it's a Gore Verbinski movie?
It's a Gore Verbinski farce and slapstick film.
That's fascinating.
I watched it the other day while drinking. I shan't lie. I was a little drunk. But almost immediately, I was entranced by the caliber of film I was watching.
How do you mean?
So, the thing about Mouse Hunt is that it's like this hyper real, tightly paced, like quick-witted farce where the jokes per minute ratio is insanely high, and it takes some incredible big swings with its special effects, and I think it hits it all out of the park.
Interesting.
I was laughing my ass off and clapping my hands with the joy that you see only in small German kids with Coca-Cola about to play Fortnite. I was in love. I was also just in love with It's one of those movies that confuses me on how on earth it was made, because I can't even begin to imagine how hard it would be to make something like this nowadays. It's a movie that has so many big set pieces and relies on such like massive amounts of destruction that I feel like no one would fund it. It reminded me a lot of Sam Raimi's second movie, Crime Wave, which is
I've been meaning to watch that for a really long time, because I think I watched I watched one video a long time ago of defending it, and then I watched another video recently defending it, and I've been intrigued by it kind of being like Evil Dead 2, I think is often praised for its kind of like Looney Tunes slapstick approach to horror. And Crime Wave seems very much in the vein of that.
It absolutely is. It's very much in like the Looney Tunes cartoon approach to a mystery film, like a mystery thriller. And from my understanding, the cast and crew had a miserable time working on it, and whenever there's like a worrying set or like a worrying precedence being set on a shoot, that they call it like a crime wave. And for all of that, I have to say that movie's pretty great. That movie's real wonderful. It's another big swing slapstick movie. And
yeah, I love when directors kind of get like, obviously The Evil Dead was just like they went to like this cabin with a few friends and they just like made a movie, and then it was like turned out a lot more like, oh my words, it was a lot more came of it than was expected.
Yeah, I doubt anyone would.
So he got the opportunity to kind of just like make Crime Wave.
Yeah, I think
and then shockingly he maintained a career afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like Crime Wave being made at all is wonderful. It's sad that there was a lot of studio meddling, but that final film is still really tight and it's still really funny. It was like Airplane almost in that kind of level of lunacy, and I really had a lot of fun. But Mouse Hunt. I've
never seen Airplane.
You haven't seen Airplane?
No, I only know the poster where it's like
the airplane all twisty doodle.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty good poster. Or Crime Wave.
In my brain, I get like that, The Naked Gun, and like Pink Panther. Panther like just like in my head as like the same movie?
Well,
Because I don't watch a lot of like comedies really.
Naked Gun is the same directors.
Okay, I guess that makes
Pink
sense.
Panther? Don't know how. Well, okay. I know why you think they're the same
There's an
movie.
old
There's an
guy,
old guy with gray hair.
and it's comedic.
And it's comedic. When you say the Pink Panther, do you mean like the Steve Martin one? The more modern ones?
Oh, please don't ask me a question I don't know the answer to.
Um, yeah. As soon as I said it, I was like, you have no
I've
idea
got
who Steve
nothing for
Martin is, do you?
I'm tired as fuck today, and I don't have the Pink Panther facts like on lock
You don't
at
have the
all.
Pink Panther fact? Well, a couple years ago, I saw the Pink Panther. There was a reboot series starring this.
There was a reboot series.
Yeah, there was a reboot series starring this comedian named Steve Martin, and it was terrible. And
Is that from like 2006?
it's from 2006. Yeah,
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of then. Yeah.
that's like I feel like Mouse Hunt is right on the cusp of comedy movies becoming quickly. I'm gonna say modernized, but what I mean by that is rooting itself firmly in modern aesthetic, modern culture.
Yeah.
Mouse Hunt is a period piece,
Uh-huh.
and
Wait, when's it set?
who knows? But it's a period piece because all of the sets are kind of like, a lot of the movie takes place in this old house, which is kind of like Art Nouveau, and the cars are from the 1940s, and we generally don't know. There's no date listed.
Oh, that's fun. I love settings that are like inspired by various times, but kind of in itself exist
Yeah,
out of time.
it's lovely, and it because I don't know what it is about it. When I was watching that movie, one of my first thoughts was, I just know the DVD had a kick-ass DVD menu. It was one of those movies. Like, it probably got a lot of money from the then DVD boom. Very 2000s in some way. I guess because of the special effects. There's a lot of practical effects, but because the third protagonist of the film is a mouse, they CG animate him and use that in combination with puppets. And some about it was very early 2000s. But like right after that, it became nothing but the Smurfs, Pink Panther, Pink Panther 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. You know what I mean? Like these out of the world characters are shoved in the modern world. How do they navigate? Which is probably a lot cheaper to shoot than something like Mouse Hunt. But I really loved Mouse Hunt. And now I can say that I've seen it. And Chris has no more movies on me. So
I guess it makes sense that Gore Verbinski made that, because when I think of like I think there's like a lot of like slapstick DNA that is like in those first couple of Pirates movies.
Oh, for sure.
Like they really like fling Captain Jack Sparrow around a lot, you know?
Yeah, he's kind of a ragdoll across that film. The film.
Yeah, he's got a lot of like Looney Tunes shit going on with him.
There's something also about like just based off of those first three Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Gore Verbinski knows what to do with a big budget, and there's nothing that's wasted across those movies. So he takes these big swings, gives them to people that like clearly know what they're doing, and is able to incorporate that in a like complete picture. And Mouse Hunt being kind of a little bit more grounded in reality, because there's not like crazy ghost pirate ships and stuff. It was still like, oh my gosh, he can still do this. That's incredible. Gorgeous sets, wonderful performances, especially from Nathan Lane, who I just adore personally. Really, really fantastic watch. Music from Alan Silvestri, which is fun because he's got this whimsical, like annoying whimsical ass that tickles me pink. It's such a strange thing that he was hired to do the Avengers, if I'm being honest with you.
He was? I didn't know he did the music for that.
He did the music for the first Avengers movie. which is like so
That's
weird.
interesting.
Yeah, how do you go from Back to the Future, Mouse Hunt to Avengers?
I don't know.
Such a thing.
I mean, presumably he did things in between all those.
Yeah, he probably did things in between all those. Could you imagine if that was your resume? Like, Back to the Future. Honestly, you could probably coast off of Back to the Future for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, lovely film.
Yeah, I guess we'll just like because we do want to have a big Kingdom Hearts chat. We'll just continue running through films that we've watched for a bit.
There's a lot I want to say.
Because I did watch a few. The next one I watched is it was a documentary that I like saw on Tubi called Glitter Goddess of Sunset Strip, which is about
crazy title.
It's a really weird take on a documentary because one, it's heavily involved by the subject. Like the subject had a lot of say in the creation of it, I believe. But it's about this woman named Lana Lloyd who was known for being like an Alice Cooper groupie.
Interesting.
But she had like a long like talk show stint talking about like being raised by a lesbian mom in the 1950s.
Whoa.
Like her life story is basically that she had like a really neurotic lesbian mom with a revolving door of lovers while still being married to her schizophrenic father. And so she went on like a really long like talk show tour, like talking about that. And it's this very strange way of doing a documentary where it's like 1/3 clips of like Oprah Winfrey and like her telling her life story and like answering calls and stuff. Another third home videos from her childhood, and a last third of like these really bizarre campy recreations of her life by her and various actors, including her daughter. Just doing like these excerpts, like not necessarily even like fully in time with what is being talked about in the documentary. I've seen these excerpts compared to like the style of filmmaking that like early John Waters was doing.
It sounds that level of camp from just how you're describing it.
Yeah, and it's like it's so fascinating because it's like the things that are being talked about are it's like 1960s butch bikers and like 70s like punk clubs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on in it, and I was kind of just like, I don't know, I didn't have like tons of like detailed thoughts or whatever. I was just like, it had me like glued to the screen because I was just like watching it happen and hearing the stories as it like shifted from these various modes. And I don't know, it's just really interesting. It's on Tubi. You love to see a Tubi gem.
I'm a big fan of Tubi.
1991.
Okay, so I would definitely put that on my list. I feel like part of the fun of this podcast is that half of the movies that we've seen, we have not seen, like only you have seen and only I have seen. And most of the time it's just like, oh yeah, okay, I'll watch that. And then we do.
And then that's why like the concept of us like having the ending be something that we did like explicitly together, because the first half of this podcast is just kind of just going back and forth saying things about
movies,
stuff we watched and liked.
It's generally movies
or whatever.
I can't wait for the episode that we do on Tiddlywinks. Can't wait. Big fan.
I've never played Tiddlywinks.
Can I be honest? Neither have I. The only, like, the biggest...
I love those circles, though. I always wanted to chew on them.
Oh, we use them in, like, math problems. Like, in elementary school.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of Tiddlywinks, I
circles.
think of Jeff Keighley.
What? Oh.
Game of the year is Tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
I watched...
Yeah, right.
So, I have a movie night with a friend of mine, Jacob. Who recently made this really extensive movie watching journal of all the films that we've watched together, and then like made a chart of the kinds of ratings that we've given them. The amount of S ranks that we've doled out is 38%. That is our highest given rating. But anyway.
Oh, you're doing like DMC style meter.
Yeah, we're doing
shit.
DMC style meter for... Okay, so let me just talk about our movie nights for a bit. We
Okay.
generally have these crazy pairings, and then we give like a rating afterwards. Sometimes these are movies that should not go together. We paired the movie Blackberry with I Saw the TV Glow. And
Interesting.
yeah, right. And we watched the what's his name? The guy who played Ray's in the Underworld movies direct and wrote his first movie called King of Killers, which is based off of a comic that he made. We paired that with Charlie Day's directorial debut, Fool's Paradise, and the horror movie, stop motion. We put we watched Monkey Man, the Dev Patel movie, and Better Man, the Robbie Williams biopic.
They both got man.
They both got man. And most recently, we watched 2 movies, as we do. One's called Yes, Madam, and Iron Monkey, which are 2 like martial arts movies. Yes, Madam stars Michelle Yeoh and a lady who I completely forgot in a buddy cop movie that is actually about 3 unrelated guys, and it fucking works for me.
Oh yeah, Yes Madam is the one that's by Corey Yoon.
Yeah.
Who made one of my favorite kung fu movies, which is 2002's So Close, which is like about these 3 women, and it's like a weird lesbian spy thriller kung fu thing. And it's got one of my favorite traits about a film from the 2000s, which is that it is shot like a music video.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, I would say the thing that's most similar to is Kurt Wimmer's Ultraviolet, which is one of my
I knew you were
favorite
going
movies
there.
of all
I
time.
knew you were going there. It totally looks like an Ultraviolet.
I fucking love Ultraviolet to death. Like, it like had such an impact on me. Just everything about it, the weird like smudgy, bright Britney Spears toxic in this like action film about like weird martial arts vampires with gun fu action. Love that shit.
I had no idea. It's crazy that you say this because Lila just texted me maybe 2 days ago. You should get on that So Close, and I had no idea the connection.
Yeah. I just sometimes I'll see her do a Letterboxd entry, and I just like my brain will make a connection, and I'll just like I won't say anything else besides you should watch this and send her a link to a movie.
Your ass is always on that New Type Flash. Yes, Madam was weirdly like a slapstick. I've been watching a lot of stuff like that. Really enjoyed it. Ends fucking crazily. The special effects. So there's this level of they did that shit whenever Jacob and I watch specifically like martial arts movies. And Yes, Madam is one of those movies that like had me wincing because I'm not like I have no idea how they could have done these stunts without just doing it. So you'll see guys like fall from like high up, land onto hard ground without rolling, and people like just wincing in pain. Great movie.
God, Corey Ewan also made
Dead or Alive.
The fucking yes.
Yeah,
the Dead
I
or
need
Alive
to get
movie
on
with Devin
that
Aoki.
so bad. Oh my god,
that movie is fascinating.
The only thing
they got White Ayane in there.
The only thing I remember about that movie is the Hulk Hogan type guy, who is like someone's dad.
Oh yeah, Bass Armstrong. Okay, lore reveal is that I know a lot about the plot of like the Dead or Alive game series.
That's awesome.
So that's Bass Armstrong. He's he's a pro wrestler, and his daughter Tina is also like a pro wrestler, and he'll like see a poster of her posing sexily, and he's like, not my daughter, and then goes to fight her. And it's like his like primary character motivation is that like he wants to beat the shit out of his daughter for being too sexy.
That's
in public.
Great. That's real wonderful. The ratings on Letterboxd.
He's kind of awful.
Yeah, he sounds
Eventually he starts working on an oil rig and starts having like very strange homoerotic tension with this guy who gets introduced on the oil rig, who is aptly named Rig.
I thought he was going to be called Oil.
No, that's a Martha Stewart tweet.
Oil.
Well, the funny thing about that tweet is that it's the L is a capitalized I, so it actually says oi, but it looks like oil.
Do you think we could get Martha Stewart on the podcast?
No.
No? Not even like
no.
Like even if we hat in hand.
No.
Hi Martha Stewart. We're two lesbians and we have a podcast with 3 episodes. We will have absolutely nothing to talk about with you, and we don't even want you on the podcast, but can you?
Okay, so I have one more movie to talk about.
Okay.
Which is that most recently I watched Memoir of a Snail, which I got reminded of it because I, for once, caught the Oscars recently. And I was like, oh, that looks neat. It's one of those. The Oscars were surprisingly decent this year. I didn't mind them. A lot of people have beef with Honora, but I mean, I haven't seen Honora yet, but I like Sean Baker's films. Anyway, his films can be kind of contentious, but overall I was like, okay, this is decent compared like on like an average like track rate for award shows, which is usually I fucking hate them. I thought it was okay, so I was like, that's a step up. Anyway, Memoir of a Snail, stop motion film about like a girl's journey into like kind of like breaking out of her shell, and it's like harrowing. I didn't know it was going to be fucking harrowing. Like I fully thought it was like gonna be like, because it like very much visually looked like dark and that kind of like what you would expect from like a Coraline or something.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like expecting Coraline in tone, but it's fucking harrowing sometimes. And I was like, Jesus Christ. But I really liked it. One thing about me is that I very rarely well up with tears or cry, but I almost cried by the end, which was saying a lot.
Oh my goodness.
But
that is saying a lot.
It's Australian. It's about this it's by this like gay stop motion filmmaker who's just been like doing this shit for like a couple decades now. But it's crazy. Like it's filled with like body fetishization and like religious trauma and hate crimes.
Oh my gosh.
And there's this really lovely old lady who is like the girl's only friend for a long time that I think is a character that you would I feel like you're gonna be like that when you're old.
Aw, I'm just gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah, because she's very like eccentric and has like very specific and odd things to say. And her second husband was eaten by an alligator.
That would happen to me. Like in a
and she was just like, damn.
In another world where I have a husband, let alone a second husband, he would be eaten by an alligator.
Yeah. Watch out, Chris. You might get eaten by an alligator.
Chris is not my second husband, let alone near an alligator.
Still might get eaten by an alligator.
Don't worry, Chris. I'll protect you. I will thrust myself in front of the alligator before anything bad could happen.
You'd be like a cartoon when like a cartoon character is surfing and they get bitten by a shark and they have a giant chunk out of the side of them.
That would happen to me.
Like that.
That would unfortunately happen to me.
Ugh.
So I'll put that on my list. For some reason, when you said Memoir of a Snail, my first thought was Marshall the Snail. No, Marshall the Shell with shoes on.
I don't know what that is.
It's an A24 movie based off of a series of like YouTube videos about this character, Marshall the Shell. My sister really liked them a lot. Growing up, to such a degree that she would like she would do this extended bit of impressions, and the character talks like really small, like really tiny, and she would talk like
what
that
the
for
fuck?
like
The director? Sorry, this is just me searching shit up live, but the director of it is making the live action Lilo and Stitch.
what the hell? Imagine going from fucking like you know, I haven't seen the movie, but going from that to Lilo and Stitch live action.
That's like a crazy jump from just making like YouTube shorts to getting like a full length adaptation of it to going straight to like I'm in the Disney live action minds.
Imagine it's like it's sort of like the career path that like going from Nomadland to Eternals.
Oh yeah, and that's that was such a shame to me because I've seen that and songs my brother taught me, and they're both quite good, and I really like Chloe Zhao as a filmmaker. So a similar thing happened to Nia DaCosta after she made
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Little Woods. There's a Japanese film called Little Forest, and I'm always scared I'm gonna say Little Forest, but it's Little Woods with Tessa Thompson. And that movie's really good. It's about like the horrors of the American health system, and then obviously after that she made Candyman, and then went straight into the Marvels, and it was like, oh no.
Yeah, that's the fucking worst.
But Chloe Zhao is currently spearheading, or at least directing, the pilot of the upcoming Buffy reboot, which is Buffy's one of the only TV shows that I watch. It's a fraught show, but it's something that's been with me for just such a long time that it's there. But if anyone is gonna do that, I think Chloe Zhao has a really good chance of doing a really good job at that, and so I'm actually I'm hesitantly looking forward to it.
It's a little like, so you have Buffy as your problematic Joss Whedon show. My shit was Firefly, and like when
is Nathan Fillion in that?
Nathan Fillion's in it. He plays this like kind of roguish cowboy.
All I know is fucking the 2000s favorite Asian coded character white woman.
Oh my god, Summer Glau
doing the pose.
Doing like the pose. She does the pose in the movie poster. That's like,
yeah. And I like every time I see that movie poster, I have to like stare at her legs and be like, how the fuck is she doing that? How'd she get so low?
I could do it.
Cause she's like down there, like she's like on some like true Gumby shit.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Could you imagine going up to her at a con and being like, pose off. You're doing the pose.
I wouldn't say anything. I would just try to do the pose, and then I'd fall on my ass, and she'd be like sitting at like at the table, and she'd like look over, and she'd just see me collapse onto the floor.
You take a tumble, and then you get up, and you're like, try me now, Sarah Connor Chronicles. Bring it on.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's what I would bring up because I did love that show.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of well, she was a girl Terminator, and so I was
Were you a big fan of Terminator 3?
I've seen it a lot. It's not good. Claire Danes is in it.
Yeah.
And the fun thing for me is realizing the evil woman Terminator in that is the woman who played Bloodrayne in Boll's Bloodrayne. Which is a fascinating film.
That's fucking crazy.
I love that. The thing about that film that's crazy is that it's like, obviously it's like a U-Boll directed like video game adaptation movie, but it was its script was written by a lesbian.
What?
Yeah.
This is like figuring out that Silent Hill Revelations 3D is like
directed by a transgender woman.
Yeah, I think about that all the fucking time.
The thing about MJ Bassett, the director of that film, is that like she's gone on to pretty much only make like her like last two films, one is called Rogue, starring Megan Fox, and the other one it's about, I don't know the name of it, but both of them are oddly about like being attacked by lions in Africa.
What?
And she co-wrote both of them with her daughter.
What?
And I'm just like, that's such a weird career trajectory, as that like I transitioned and now I exclusively make lion attack films with my daughter.
What the fuck? What? I feel bad for Silent Hill Revelations 3D sometimes, just because I think about like the lead up to that movie, and I think about her posting on her blog like, who do you think would be a good actress for this character? What are some things like what are some things that you'd want to see from the games? Blah blah blah. And then it just became Silent Hill Revelations 3D.
That movie is fascinating.
That movie is upsetting.
It's got such an icky tone to it, but to circle back to Bloodrayne, for a while actually, the lead actress, the Bloodrayne actress, and then Michelle Rodriguez, who's in that movie, have like
Had a fling?
yes,
What?
like a heavily hinted like real life romance on set that both actresses have since like come out as bisexual.
I didn't know that. Holy shit.
Yeah. And so it's been heavily implied that they had a romance on set
Was she
during Bloodrayne,
fucking
the movie
Bloodrayne?
directed by Boll and written by a lesbian.
fucking Bloodrayne? Of all the
That movie
movies?
is fascinating to me because there's just there's so much like weird lesbian energy in it for a Boll film.
Oh my god. Maybe I should give it a watch.
We me and a couple of our friends watched it in a call once, and it was
An experience.
fascinating.
I'm trying to think of the Uwe Boll movies that I've seen. House of the Dead.
I've seen
Alone in
yeah,
the
I've seen
Dark.
House of the Dead is amazing.
House of the Dead is
scene,
crazy.
The scene in the middle where they all like stand in like a stock still
And shoot the
like,
camera?
and like shoot the zombies in the camera, and it like keeps like intersplicing between like
The-
video game footage and like weird like Windows Movie Maker transitions and gunshots.
My favorite part about that
it's
scene
amazing.
is seeing the dolly track. I notice it every time, but I'm like, hey, that's the dolly track. Put that shit in the IMDb goofs.
That movie is great.
What is he working
Do you have
on
any
now?
other movies you want to talk about, or do you want to pivot to Kingdom Hearts?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm still thinking about Firefly. That show sucks, I think.
I've never seen it.
You never will is the thing. And, you know, I have this opportunity
You don't know that. You don't, sometimes I get bitten by a bug, and especially with single season television shows or like 2 small season television shows, I will like enter like a fugue state. It'll be like the only television show I completed that year is that I saw that something was like 1 or 2 seasons long and I watched the whole thing, and then I don't remember it. Like I was like, last time I did this, I was like, dog. No, they're cats. I was cat sitting, and I watched all of Blade, the Spike TV television show based off Blade.
Is this when you watch?
character.
Is this also why you watched? What was it like? Mutant X, Generation X, some X.
Oh, there's a Generation X TV movie, and then there's Mutant X, which is the legally distinct Marvel-made X-Men show that they made in the 2000s when Fox still had all the rights to that stuff. And Fox actually sued them over this show.
That's really funny.
I've never finished it, but that show's crazy. It's fascinating because it's got absolutely nothing to do with X-Men, and also the Magneto stand-in is like, he looks like an Andy Warhol cosplayer.
That what?
Like, okay, no, I will literally like live find a picture of this guy.
Yeah, send me a photograph.
I will.
Now I'm gonna tell you all about my personal history with the television show Firefly. Growing up, I had a lot of DVDs, I never really had the opportunity to explore like a bunch of different shows and stuff. I had like DVDs of movies and 2 collections of shows. And those shows were Firefly and the first season of Chuck. And let me tell you.
Which one is Chuck again?
Chuck is Zachary Levi is a super nerd with a supercomputer in his brain.
Okay, so look at this image.
Okay, I'm looking at this image.
Look at this fucking image.
All right, I'm looking at this image. I'm opening up the Discord. I'm looking at. That's Andy Warhol.
Yeah, no, he's like literally like his name is Mason Eckhart, and he is styled entirely like an Andy Warhol cosplay.
He literally looks like Andy Warhol.
For some inexplicable reason, he's just Andy Warhol, and I have no idea why.
That's ridiculous. Anyway, so because I grew up with those DVDs, I ended up rewatching Firefly and Chuck, specifically the first season of Chuck, a lot.
Are you saying Chuck like that every time?
I don't know why. It's been a consistent bit across my life, and now I'm cursed to say Chuck every time.
Okay.
Now, Firefly isn't a great TV show by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, most episodes that I remember are accompanied with this like sour "ew" kind of face because all of them are just bad. But I liked the show enough that I asked my mom, like, hey, can we go to Walmart? I would like to purchase a DVD of the movie Serenity, the sequel to that show. And I did for about like $10 because it was in the bargain bin. It was in the bargain bin, but still in like a big plastic covering, like security covering. And they left it on. They left it on after I bought it, and I was like, I don't know what to do in order to get this thing off. So my biggest memory of Firefly and Serenity is spending about a week smashing that fucking plastic casing off of the DVD because I did not yet know that they were controlled by magnets. Joss Whedon, eat your heart out. That's the biggest memory I have of your show. That and the episode Ariel, which is like a hospital heist.
I'm just like imagining you as like a baby child, just like smashing this copy of Serenity.
No, that's what happened. Like, so I have very scant memories of like past me, but the one that stuck through is me like looking at the floor, noticing there's tile on it, looking at the plastic box and like putting 2 and 2 together, and like the start of 2001: A Space Odyssey, smashing that shit across the floor. And then imagine doing all of that and the movie you see afterwards isn't even good. I remember
that's the life of bargain bin, baby.
That's the life of fucking bargain bin. Can we talk about Kingdom Hearts now?
Yeah,
I've been dying to talk about Kingdom Hearts.
As of our last episode, you had done the tutorial of Chain of Memories, and as of today, as of yesterday, actually, I sat with you while you finished the game, Riku's Story. So we did all of Chain of Memories in the interim. So, what are your thoughts? Say whatever. Because I know you have a lot to say.
Say whatever. Oh, jeez. There's so much.
Yeah.
So, faithful listeners of the podcast, or unfaithful listeners, cheating listeners of the podcast might know that...
Please cheat on us. We love it. We're in the podcast cuck chair while you listen to fucking...
The podcast
My brother and me.
Oh my god. Travis Touchdown. Wait, what's that guy's name? It don't matter. Anyway...
McElroy.
That's not a name.
Chain of Memories.
That is not a name. Chain of Memories. So cheating, unfaithful viewers of the podcast might remember that I didn't get it and I was constantly confused while playing the game. That is not what happened almost as soon as I started actually playing the game.
Okay, so like the first week after like she did the tutorial, she wouldn't play it.
No.
And it was like, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. And then because the only thing she did before was the tutorial, she waited a week. She didn't remember the tutorial and completely
Completely didn't know about a very important mechanic that could have saved me. I know I should.
Dude, unlike the semifinal world, she said to me in call, I wish I had a dodge button. And I was like, you've had one the entire time. It's fucking
literally
square.
had one the entire time. Can I be honest? It would not have helped regardless. I don't think it would have helped. So,
Yeah.
the game like became really like quickly intuitive to me. I played very carefully up until around the end where I got really risky. Extremely enjoyable, really, really fun to play, really, really challenging in a way that I wasn't expecting. Like, not in an action game way, but kind of in like a...
Yeah, you ended up clicking with it a lot more than I was expecting you to, because the era around it, like, I know your wife was like, oh, is Lady still suffering through Chain of Memories? But eventually you came to like really like it.
No, I really, really, really loved it. There was something about it, like...
I think you like it more than me.
Can I be honest? I might. Because, like, it took me a while to get to this point, because I was playing it like an action game for so long. Like an action game where I kind of need to, like tiptoe around boss fights and stuff. But as soon as I realized how to be aggressive in that game, like how to really play aggressively and start like programming these slights, and then have them recharge and be able to adapt, that became like the game for me. And that's...
Yeah, it's very much like a tactics game.
For sure.
Based around its deck building. And it's all about timing and placement.
A friend of mine told me like you should be focusing on slights and stuff. And you know, I love you, but I forgot that you said that when I said that I was playing the game, and basically I'm glad that I learned the lesson myself, because that's what ultimately made it stick. So at the end of the day, I really, really loved. It took me a while, but I really, really loved how that game played, and how that game felt, and how that game was, and how that game is, and how that game is just like a story. The second game in a series. We played Rechain of Memories, not the GBA version, Rechain of Memories. So we got like, we got big cutscenes, we got full animation. But how the second game, not technically the second game, it's like a remake, and it came after Kingdom Hearts 2. The second game in a series that immediately has you recontextualizing everything that you just played in the first game. Something that like wants you to pay special attention to just about every line and consider who is being spoken to and what is the purpose here. The most basic of analysis questions, but it really wants you to think about that just as you continue through this story. Something that immediately challenges your memories. And that's really important, I think, not only in a Kingdom Hearts way, but to consider that in a like a nostalgia way. When Aerith mentions like to be wary of your memories, that they may lie to you, my first thought wasn't the game will lie to you. I mean, that was my second thought, but my first thought was like nostalgia is a poison, or like these kinds of thoughts will take over you if you are uncareful with them.
Yeah, if you don't take the time to consider the past in a realistic manner, it's easy for somebody to take advantage of what those memories are like. How those memories are influenced. People can tell you the way things were in such a way that can be misleading.
And I think about this like fact where like obviously memory isn't 100%. And whenever you recall a memory, like even that big memory of me smashing that DVD box against the ground, I'm mostly remembering the last time I remembered it, you know? So that really fucked with me across that entire game, because that is the premise. Namine being trapped in Castle Oblivion, modifying the last time sort of occult-based things. And that was really exciting to me.
Yeah, and I like how you get to see that as the floors go on, as you start to see Sora, each floor is just like, oh, Kairi, and then that slowly like expands to include Riku, and then Kairi slowly moves out of the. And there's like a small like split second where it's the four of us, and then the second that it's the four of us, it becomes the three of us again, but with Naminé.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see these like layers. It's like slightly like these edits, these constant revisions.
And if you pay like special enough attention to specifically what Sora recalls, like you can tell the memory that's being modified, because Sora really likes to talk about stuff that happens. And being able to play through that was really exciting for me. And the Disney worlds, which I was really happy weren't just like a repeat of what happened in Kingdom Hearts 1, were really interesting this time around. Not that they weren't in Kingdom Hearts 1, but I really liked the recontextualized stories. Like some big ones on my mind, Hollow Bastion. Hollow Bastion being about like reunion, I thought was really cute. Being more focused on Beauty and the Beast, and which was interesting to me because Belle is not that much of a character in Kingdom Hearts 1. But it was cool to see these characters that Sora has in his subconscious and kind of apply this story of misunderstanding and reunion, and like why Belle had to be the way that she was, like really cruel to Beast just because I wanted to protect you. There's a lot of parallelism between like that and what goes on between Sora and Riku.
That scene with where Sora gets left behind in the first game and hangs out with Beast for a while is like such a good segment of that game.
That's Lila's been very kind, and by very kind I mean has kept her mouth shut in regards to literally everything about.
Well, it's been fun to me because I think at the beginning of this I didn't realize exactly how little you had picked up via cultural osmosis of this series. Mm-hmm. Like when I said the words I'm already half Xehanort to you, and you had never heard them before, I was like, oh shit, I gotta like actually like watch what I fucking say, because I want you being able to even have this experience of like knowing literally nothing except what you know, which is very little, is like neat. Because like for example, I misled lady into thinking that I was replaying Chain of Memories in the background when I was actually playing Riku's story, and the whole time she didn't know that Riku had a story. And at one point her butch was like, oh, are you finished with Sora's story? And then immediately lady's first thought was, oh wait, so do you play as Roxas afterwards? And so it's just like this such an interesting experience to see exactly where your brain leads you when you actually like fully don't know what is like pretty much common knowledge for people who play Kingdom Hearts.
Chris put it in this really interesting perspective, where, you know, I was a little peeved at them after saying, are you on Sora's story? But, like, I completely understand why they asked that. Number one, they didn't know. Number two, they said, you know, it's really hard for me to, like, even know what to say to you in this regard, just because all of this has been common knowledge for me for years. And yeah, no, that's totally the case. I'm super new to Kingdom Hearts, and I know, like, I know what I know.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw Zexion, I kept calling him Ienzo, which is a different guy, but not really, but also yes, is. And I kept forgetting, like, oh yeah, it's Zexion. And so, like, I know what I know in very stupid ways. Like, I knew that what Marluxia was riding on in the final boss fight was his sister, was Strelitzia as a Heartless, which is not something anyone, like, who is only on Chain of Memories would fucking know.
Well, not quite, I don't think. Because, I mean, that thing isn't a Heartless.
Well, yeah. You know, it's a nobody. Is a nobody, yes, I know. There's gonna be a lot of this, I feel like, across this whole journey. But that's okay. But my knowledge is just, it is what it is.
I've also just like, I don't know what you mean when you say that, because I've never once heard that monster is Marluxia's
That was
sister.
from a mobile game. That was from I think it
Okay.
was.
Once again, I'm gonna say this every single episode. Those mobile games elude me.
Those mobile games also elude me, but at the time, I don't remember which one it was. If it was Union Cross or Dark Road, it was probably Union Cross. Near the end of the series, um, like a friend of mine was really excited, like a super huge Kingdom Hearts fan, would absorb everything, was talking about like theories that they had. Like, oh, it would be so cool if you were playing as Luke Sword's somebody. You know, like that was a theory that they had. Oh, and Luke Sword's somebody name is Ludo. I don't know what to do with the R, but it's
Yeah,
Ludo, and that would make
but that sister thing I think is a theory.
it could be. It kind of is. I do remember that there is a cutscene starring both. So who knows? It's been a fact that I've shoved in people's faces, and I don't even know if it's actually a fact, but it's interesting enough, and it makes enough sense to me. Um,
Yeah, I don't.
but regardless, it's just a sign of my knowledges are very fucking scattered. I knew that the guy that you fight at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 is named Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. I did not know that Xemnas' somebody's name was Ansem. For just the kind of like context. Um
Well,
well, what?
there's more to it than
I'm
that.
sure there's more to it than that.
You're
That's it. The this entire series, the entirety of Kingdom Hearts is, there's more to it than that. Like, obviously.
Yeah, it's funny when you say things. I'm just like, not quite.
Yeah, obviously. Um but I really loved Chain of Memories. Uh the
Yeah, do you want to talk story?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the story. Like, my head is so scattered in terms of thought. Like, should I organize this by how I played it? Like, what world? By, like...
I mean, you played it linearly. You just
Well, I played it linearly, but does everyone choose the same pattern of worlds?
I mean, it ultimately doesn't
Matter?
matter.
No, not at all.
There's not a lot of
There was one thing that I think mattered a little bit, a tiny
Okay.
bit, a tiny bit. I played Halloween Town, which in Sora's story deals a lot with this concept of true memories, or like what the truth of a memory is. And then as soon as I finished that, I fought Larxene, who taunts you for not having true memories. And I thought, like, oh, that's really cool. That, like, if I had played Halloween Town any earlier, I wouldn't have caught that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fun. And I really love that game because there's
I
a...
think my favorite story bit in that game is the ending of Riku's story.
Mhm.
Specifically that when like Riku is in the pod room with Namine, and Namine is like, I could change your memories too. I could get rid of the darkness. And it's this weird moment of where it's like Sora and Riku are heading down two different roads that both lead to different kinds of growth for them.
Yeah.
In order for Sora to grow, he has to let go of his fake memories, while Riku is finding a way forward, keeping everything that he has on his shoulders still there.
I was actually nervous during that part. I was going to talk about like a Sora thing and then Riku, but I was really nervous at that part where Nami is like, I could just change it for you. Just because I thought I'd worried that Riku was going to do that. And granted,
Yeah, no, I like that he doesn't a lot.
I really love that he doesn't. That's so fucking cool. And I just appreciate that he's wrestling with this darkness inside him, and that during gameplay it is super easy for him to slip into it. I appreciate that Mickey Mouse like shuts up for most of that, just because I needed Riku to go on that whole little journey mostly alone.
Yeah, it's a good journey for him.
It's really good. It's like fantastic storytelling. I didn't know that Riku would have to like sort of understand and suffer the consequences of what he did in Kingdom Hearts 1 so quick.
Yeah, I love that Reverse Rebirth is like actually just so important to that character's development.
For sure. Like I couldn't.
It could have easily just been like here's a 358 over 2 days mission mode.
Yeah.
Type deal.
I was really curious as to what the hell that like secondary mode would be. Like for a long time I thought it was Roxas until Lila, I'm about to admit something shameful to you.
Okay, do it. Go for it.
I got stuck on Replicu's first boss fight, and I went to look up like a guide or something, and I looked up Riku Chain of Memories, and the first result was, should I play Reverse Rebirth? And I was like, oh, it's Riku. You're not playing as Roxas, it's Riku. You're gonna play as Riku. It's Riku. You're playing as Riku. Like an idiot, I did that. So I'd known at least up until maybe my second session. No, I'm like before my second session, I knew it would be Riku. I think. And oops, that's on me. That's my shame. And I didn't end up finding a guide anyway. I got really pissed at myself for doing that. So I just suffered through that boss fight. But for the longest time, I did think you were gonna play as Roxas, just because, like, honestly, I didn't know who. Like, it's so early in the series, I didn't know who else you could be playing as. And Roxas made some manner of sense to me. You know, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories being this kind of teaser game, not really, but being this kind of teaser game for Kingdom Hearts 2. This white boy seems like he might have, like, a story to tell. Maybe he will get like a prologue in Chain of Memories or something.
This white boy seems like
he's got a story to tell. And you know, I thought that was the case, but no, Riku immediately like having to come to terms with himself.
Like the order that you suggested things to me was your first thought was Roxas, and then you said Riku, and then you said maybe Axel.
Well, so something that you had said, and I was, while I was playing the Cross Sora's story, I was like, what the fuck is up with Axel? Because in my head, Axel is kind of a slacker. He's kind of the slacker, and mostly all he cares about is his friends Xion and his friends Roxas. And that's his goal in the organization, is to kind of keep them safe. To keep them safe and keep them kind of like, okay. That's on my head. I don't know if that's true or not. Please don't tell me if that is. I don't care. But in Chain of Memories, he is kind of like a scheming eunuch the entire game. And Marluxia and Larxene want to break away from the organization, and Vexen is trying to understand more about Sora, and Axel wants to, I would say, protect Sora, but what it felt like was like he wants Sora for himself. So Larxene talking about using Namine or whatever, and you need to kill the traitor, and Axel's just like, I'll kill the traitor, all right. Just you wait. Like, that is really
the way
weird
he kills
to me.
Vexen.
Yeah,
the cutscene with Vexen and Axel is one of the best cutscenes in the game.
He just kills
just
a guy.
In terms of like the way it's acted out. Really good stuff.
It's so bizarre to me. Like, Axel being really proactive was crazy. Like him telling,
there's a lot of context that gets added to that.
You know, I'm sure there is.
I think even by the time this will
air
get uploaded, you'll have played a little bit of early Kingdom Hearts 2.
I'll probably have, yeah. But you know, at the end when he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill the traitor, all right, to Marluxia, I'm like, okay. Like, who is this guy? And something that you had mentioned before, when I was like, what the fuck is up with Axel? I had all these questions playing the game, and you were like, yeah, all these questions will be answered. And when I had known about the second story, at least, you were like, the second story will answer a lot of questions for you. That was one of the questions I was expecting to be answered. Because that was one of my big ones.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense why you would think that. It's interesting because Axel's like not really in that much
No,
at
he
all.
really isn't. He's there to play the role that he played in Sora's story, but he's also there to like just be a dick.
Yeah, I love how like while like Vexen, Larxene, Marluxia, and Axel are like kind of like the primary um people like dealing with Sora. Zexion and Lixeus kind of get like the graveyard shift, and they're like, "Fuck, we gotta go to the basement and fight
Lexius
Riku."
and Zexion and fucking Vexen for a bit are all just in the basement going like, we should do something. Yeah, we should do something. Yes, we should do something. And then they don't. And that was really fucking funny to me.
Yeah, they're kind of just like.
I
It's like, I mean, look, Zeus is the most like just throw me at an enemy guy in the organization character. So it's like he's not really gonna be doing much planning.
no. Like, you got Zexion and Vexen in the same room, and the most that they came up with is...
and then you got the evil book nerds.
They got the evil book nerds, and the most that they can come up with is, it stinks less in here. Who was that? Oh, could have been the superior. No, it was Riku. That's it? Like, at least Marluxia, Larxene, and Axel did stuff to Sora.
Yeah, to be fair, Vexen was a bit preoccupied because he's the one in both stories that plays the most.
Yeah.
In both.
Yeah.
And he was busy like creating Repliku and ordering Repliku and all that shit.
What I was going to talk about earlier is in Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora is this incredible static character who very seldom like suffers and changes so far. Don't tell me if he does. I don't care. Who very rarely suffers and changes because of it. It's more like he suffers and is like, okay, I need to stay true to myself. And what is true to myself is being the way that I am.
Yeah, most of his lessons is to be like, oh yeah, actually, I shouldn't doubt my heart.
I shouldn't. But Riku, across Kingdom Hearts 1, is someone that you check in on, and he is worse with every passing moment. It's like, what's happened to you, Riku? He's constantly in across this. You see him across the game getting like groomed and abused to foster this darkness to be, I don't know, Ansem's vessel or something. And he changes, obviously. So when you're playing Chain of Memories, when I was playing Chain of Memories, I was noticing like, man, with each fucking floor, Sora is getting worse and worse. Like, I was seeing that happen to Sora instead of Riku. And it was interesting.
Yeah, while Riku is ascending upwards
from
the darkness.
That's really fun. But so, like, Sora's getting worse, and the person that plays the role of, I guess, me, are Donald and Goofy. You know? Like, across every floor, they're really excited, and they're like, we need to stick together and just sort of, you know, hope for the best and do what we can. But there was this moment that made me fucking, like, genuinely sob, where I'm just thinking about it is making me teary, where Goofy's like, what happened to the happy Sora? Like, and Donald's like, every time you mention Namine, you get mad. I can't do a Donald, I can't do a Goofy either, but and Sora is just like, shut up, leave me alone, and runs away from them. Like, he gets to have that moment of abandoning them.
Yes, exactly. And you get that floor where like you don't have any friend cards.
No. Granted, I didn't use my friend cards super duper much just because
I used Goofy Smash a lot.
I used Goofy Tornado a lot near the end, especially in Castle Oblivion. That's not important. What's most important is the fucking friendship right now. And that moment really made me fucking sob because one, it's really sad to see Sora suffer. Two, it's really sad to know that Sora, like, you know when you watch someone make a mistake and you know, like, this is gonna bite them in the ass, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
it's like watching that. Sora is something of like a sandbar in harsh waters. That, like, for me. So whenever something is happening across these games, the organization is plotting, Ansem is plotting, Maleficent is plotting, there's some villainous evil that I cannot possibly begin to comprehend. At the very least, I can feel the sand underneath my toes while the waves are getting choppy, and that's Sora. So Sora to be kind of whisked away in his own emotions that aren't even real is like harrowing to me. I care about that kid.
And I love the way he treats Naminé even after he knows that she isn't what he thought she was to him.
Sora is kind of a role model to me, I think.
Yeah.
Just because
he treats everyone with like a universal kind of, he knows that everyone has the capacity for good.
And as soon as Naminé, who is like killing herself every time she's in a cutscene.
Yeah, because when she's just like, no, I understand why you would want to erase me. I'm nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not a person. I don't matter.
That really hurt. Like, that broke me because I was like, that's obviously not what Sora meant. But like Sora immediately going, that's not what I'm here for. And Jiminy going like, yeah, we'll write a reminder to thank you. Whenever that comes up, I'm gonna sob. You're gonna hear me cry, recalling it in whatever episode I'm thinking will happen in Kingdom Hearts 3. Who knows? Don't tell me. I don't care.
There's something about the way that primarily through Axel and Naminé, which Sora is able to tap into the idea of them having emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the idea of nobody's having emotions is so interesting to me because there's these two moments specifically where like Naminé seems genuinely remorseful and sad about the whole situation. Sure. And that one scene where Axel starts fake laughing and it turns into like a real laugh. And then he's like, whoa, I actually felt that, to himself. Mm-hmm. Like there's nobody to front for in that scene because it's just him alone in a room. And it's like, there's something about Sora, maybe his connection to Kingdom Hearts and why they want to have Kingdom Hearts, that allows these nobodies to kind of actually realize that they can
be
kind of feel something.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, the Sora being the way that he is why he has garnered the interest of the organization. And I don't mean that in a plot way. I mean that in Sora is somebody to everybody. So for Larxene and Marluxia, he is like a way out. For Axel, he's someone that gets him to feel more like himself. And for Naminé, who knows that her somebody is Kairi, by the way, Sora is something like the friend that she always wanted, like an imaginary friend almost. And I think the best thing ever across like Chain of Memories was that moment where Sora says like, it comes to terms with his memories aren't real, but still says to Naminé, I made a promise to you. Whether that was real or not, it was still a promise. That, I'm getting teary thinking about it, getting really teary. These nobody characters are really fun to me. I'm really excited to see more of them because I really like that there's a lot of complexity in everybody. Even in, Larxene, who and Marluxia, who are kind of like enigmatic and dead, and kind of like one note. But there's still this complexity here where I think that there is some kind of level of understanding to what Naminé is, like, as a person, but Larxene, playing her role still needs to be this stone cold bitch and is just sort of taunting Naminé. Like, the kind of bully who respects your pronouns or something. Larxene and Marluxia are really funny to me. I'm a little sad that all of these characters are dead I assumed that they would just be respawned in whatever place that these nobodies come from. I'm told
Oh
that they die.
yeah,
I'm told that they're
yeah.
Gonzo,
No, they're
Donzo, dead and gone. Um,
yeah,
so
yeah.
shame,
They don't respawn
shame
in
that
that
I
one.
won't get any more of them in like Kingdom Hearts 2 or something. Um, R.I.P. Zexion, Latino King. R.I.P. Vexen.
What you're headcanon him as Latino?
It, dude, look at him.
What form?
What do you mean? What form? It don't matter. He's Latino. There's this human
Okay.
experience that Latinos face of being emo, and
Uh-huh.
that's Zexion.
I'm aware of the emo Mexican community, and I support everything they do
There was this really lovely
for the world.
article about like the emo and goth community in like a town nearby here that was
Uh-huh.
really fun for me because I was like, yeah, that's really cool. There we do get emo. What's up with that? Um Anyway, Zexion is Latino. I don't have any other headcanons. Actually, what that's not a headcanon, that's canon. Nomura told me. He was right there and he was like, he's Latino. And I was like, what? That's crazy. Anyway, um these nobody characters I'm a little sad that I'm not going to see any more of until probably days
Yeah.
where before but it will feel different if Zexion's like no coffee in the pot today because I know he's going to die soon and like whatever happens in days.
No coffee in the pot today. Yeah, to be fair though, Days is what we're playing after 2, so
Yeah,
it won't be too long.
it
It'll
won't be
probably be in, like,
too long,
May.
but it'll be what it is. I just Chain of Memories also deals a lot with my favorite part of Kingdom Hearts 1, and that is Ansem.
Uh-huh.
And I love Ansem
Yeah.
so much. Ansem is the coolest fucking character ever. I love that Ansem is a foil to Mickey. I love that Ansem is a foil to Sora. I love that Ansem is the final boss, and you don't know that. I love that Maleficent is just who you think the main fucking antagonist is, and you don't know about fucking Ansem. You don't know about anything or ever. I love Ansem. I love Ansem Seeker of Darkness. I love his stupid tits and his fucking whack ass hairline. I love him so bad. Um, he honest to God might be my favorite character right now because I think about
Oh,
Ansem.
interesting.
I think about Ansem so much. Just because
I'm
he
excited for you to get more insight on the whole Ansem situation, especially in 2, because there's a lot in 2.
there's a level of frustration that I have with
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna say Ansem, but like this idea in games where development happens off screen or in a like codex entry, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I think the reason why it didn't hit or it didn't frustrate me in Kingdom Hearts is just because the way that extemporaneous what's the word I'm thinking of, like outside of the game material or like a codex screen in a game is dealt with
Uh-huh.
is kind of like an expectation or it's a formality, like it's not important. But across Kingdom Hearts 1 you are told by so many fucking characters the Ansem reports are very vital to understanding why he did the things that he did. So reading
Yeah.
those and getting the thought or getting into the mind of this character of this guy Ansem was really exciting to me. Like every time I'd get an Ansem report, I'd be excited. Just because I don't know who this guy is, but everyone's talking about him. And it really surprised. Well, I'd known about like a boat guy in Kingdom Hearts 1, and I was like, I don't think Maleficent is a boat. And it's Ansem. And Ansem isn't even a boat. He's like a Salamis class warship from Gundam. If you want to, check that checkmate, cunt. But you know, Ansem kind of being in the narrative. You hear this phrase a lot, haunting the narrative. Ansem kind of does is the thing. So that's really exciting for me. Not because his reports are a formality. His reports are necessary. The Suda51 game, the Silver Case, deals with two main plots. One side is Transmitter, the other side is Placebo. And the way that you're supposed to play that game, and I know you know, that's a fraught conversation that I'm not going to get into. But the way that game is organized is you play transmitter first. You go on the first track. You switch from the you crossfade into the other side. Placebo.
The UI is a DJ deck.
A DJ deck.
It made me so annoyed. This was such a like, not even because like this is the way they played it or whatever, because like do whatever you want, but I had seen this like Steam forum post where someone was like, oh, it's vinyl, so you play side A and then you play side B, but it's very obvious when looking at like the way the UI is set up that Transmitter and Placebo are two different records. And that always just irritated me because that was just such a petty grievance I had with that forum post, because I was just like,
no, it's not a petty grievance. It's like the whole reason why it pisses me off. Anyway, so Placebo is a framing device for reacting to what happens in Transmitter, and that's what the answer reports are. The answer reports are a reaction, or kind of, if you know what. This analogy doesn't matter because if you think about it, Sora is the placebo to Ansem's Transmitter. But whatever. Regardless, what you play is then sort of responded to in those Ansem reports, and having that character, be this major guy, this major driving force in this world so far is really, really exciting to me. So it was really cool to me while playing Chain of Memories that Ansem is a, like, footnote. Like, do you think Ansem's behind this, Donald and Goofy? No, we killed him. Okay! Sure. Of course he isn't. That really threw me for a loop, because then I was like, who on earth else could be behind this? And I don't know what plot yet is lying in wait for Sora.
I like that initial kind of like, okay, Kingdom Hearts 1 could theoretically be a one and done.
Yeah.
We kill Ansem, everything's fine. But then the way that it's like hinted at with like the very tiny final mix inclusions of nobodies, of specifically that secret boss fight, and then the Ansem report you get from that boss fight that tells you about nobodies.
Yeah.
And then if you on first glance it's like, that's nothing, that could be nothing, and then you think about it and you're like, well, if Ansem is a Heartless, and then it goes from there.
I think about that all the time. I think about Ansem all the time. So obviously, like, you don't know what his whole deal is with Sora, but he's obviously connected. But Sora wouldn't know that. Sora doesn't care about what's all over him. Like, that's a distraction. What's most important to him is, like, connection, you know? And that's one of the most exciting things about this character. And I'm sure for other people, they're like tearing their hair out and going like, "Why doesn't Sora care?" But I'm glad that he's not.
I like that
waiting in the context.
Sora is the glue that like holds it all together. Like, he is a consistent factor of these constant connections and reconnections and memories and traveling through different worlds, and he's the avenue for that. He's the avenue for much more complex things, but he's like a simple guy, so he's able to kind of like bob and weave through all these situations around him.
He's the best,
this, like, focal point,
the best kind of stranger to meet. There's this thing that my mom tells me a lot. And she says, when you were a kid, you would never meet a stranger. Which is, number one of the sweetest things that I've ever been told. Number two, probably really concerning for a mom and a, like, 4-year-old child. And I kind of understand why she was always hounding me now. But anyway,
yeah,
to be like that, to have Sora tap into that kind of, like, childlike trust or understanding is really exciting to me. I like Sora. I know I've said that a lot in this episode. You're gonna hear it like 3,000 more times. So get fucking used to it.
Because I also like Sora.
I love Sora so much. So Chain of Memories is this plot heavy game, but it's not about like these details that you can get lost in as much. It's about these like kind of weird people that you'll never see again. It's a once in a lifetime like chance meeting. Like that's what
he doesn't even remember it.
Of course he won't remember it. You know? I hope to God there's not like a moment in Kingdom Hearts 4 where he's like, remember Castle Oblivion, Donald and Goofy plushes? Because I don't think Donald and Goofy are gonna show up until like the end of that game. And
I don't know about the end of that game.
No, I'm thinking the end of that game. I'm imagining him talking to like a dog and a duck plushie, like in his apartment that he lives at. And he's like, I named this one Donald and this one Goofy. And whoever is with him is like, okay, Sora.
I think he sounds a lot deeper than that now.
Oh, yeah, he probably does. Hello.
Because he's like,
hello, Donald and Goofy. It's me, Sora.
Angel Ozma is like in his like 30s, 40s.
Well, yeah, but whenever he does the Sora voice, it's still like, I appear. No, I'm doing Chip. I'm doing Chip from Sonic World Adventure. The one with the big one. The hog. Werehog. What's that shit called? Unleashed. And Chip is like...
It is called World Adventure in Japanese.
Is it? That's fun.
Yeah. That's the Japanese title.
That's the Japanese title?
Yeah.
Oh. Gonna leave that one on silent for a bit.
But yeah, gotta pour one out for Sonic World Adventure.
Gotta pour one out for fucking Larxene, Marluxia, Zexion, Lexius. Lexius is like... Poor guy, you know? Like, at least Zexion kind of seems like he has other things going on. Like, I wonder what to do today. But Lexius is just, like, there.
I'm fascinated by this voice that you're concocting for Zexion.
I don't know why that's the voice. Because he doesn't sound like that. But...
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He kind of sounds like a Muppet when I do him. There's got to be some place that I'm pulling that voice from. But Lexius...
It sounds, like, vaguely familiar. Like yesterday, you just started doing a voice while you were playing A Way Out with a mutual friend on stream, and you like started doing like Clone High JFK out of nowhere, and I was like, oh
yeah,
you just grab voices from places and put them in other places.
Yeah.
Then they're there.
Shit, I'm gonna need to figure out where the hell I'm pulling Zexion from. But Zexion seems like he's got other things going on, like experiments.
Yeah. And
Zeus
is just kind of a guy with a sword.
Has anyone ever mentioned... I'm sure they have, because this is like a 20-plus-year-old series. Has anyone ever mentioned that Zexion and Riku have the same ability to smell things? That was really cool to me. Riku gets this... I'm gonna say new to me, because I don't remember in Kingdom Hearts 1 where he's like, Sora, you smell like shit, or something.
In Kingdom Hearts 1, we don't really get a lot of
Riku,
because I mean, he's pretty firmly like not himself pretty early on, and he's being influenced by... that's one thing that I liked about Riku's trip to Hollow Bastion and Chain of Memories, is that it's the one time we kind of really get like full insight into like his life in the castle and like how he was treated, and we see his room and his thoughts on the room and his thoughts on like how he was treated and the associated memories there.
Yeah.
And that's like the one time that we actually really get to see, like, from Riku's perspective, his time in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah. So, like, don't lead me astray. I'm someone that's very easily distractible. But to keep on my thread, like, we don't see that Sora or Riku has that ability to smell, but he mentions it a lot during the Riku side of his of Chain of Memories. But Zexion just sort of, not out of nowhere, but he has that similar scent too. And there's never a pin put on that. And obviously there won't be, because Zexion's dead, D-E-A-D, gone. So two people have that extreme sense. All of these nobodies tend to have this sense not like extra periphery. They're not like new types, but they have their like abilities. They have their powers. I like that Vexen's Hojo. Like, he's just Hojo again. Like, from Final Fantasy VII Hojo. Like, that really drove me for a loop. Or, a lot of things drove me for a loop. Because this series is crazy. And I can't believe it exists. But Vexen just being there to be Hojo is cool to me. But that makes Lexius all the more enigmatic. And kind of, like, sad to me. Because, like, there's nothing else implied for him, you know? He's just there. Justice for the meatheads in our world.
He's truly a nobody.
Don't be like that.
You might say Lexaeus is the greatest nobody of them all.
Don't be like that. There needs to be a fan of Lexius somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is. Unfortunately, it won't be me. I'm so sorry, Boobala. I'm not into you. But I'm just thinking about like what comes next and all of this.
Yeah. Let's talk about how you're feeling about because you haven't started Kingdom Hearts 2.
I haven't.
I've started my replay of it.
Because as soon as I finish a game, Lila goes like choose on.
Yeah, because I'm really these are not my first time at the rodeo, so I like speed through them pretty fast, and then I spend a lot of that time in between
taunting me. You're like fucking Ansem to Riku.
One, taunting you, and two, hyping myself up for the next entry. So it's been a few weeks since I beat Chain of Memories.
It's been a while.
And
sorry.
I have been really excited to replay 2.
I got really stuck on Vexen.
And so the second she rolled credits, I was like, I'm opening it up.
Yeah, the second I rolled credits, Lila hopped off a call and said like, I gotta go, bye. And then immediately started Kingdom Hearts 2.
It's true.
So there's a lot of like little questions from Chain of Memories that I want like answered. Number one, what the fuck is Axel's deal? That feels important. Important to me.
You get a lot of Axel time in a couple games.
I'm glad because I like that guy. He's weird. He's really weird. Number 2, Diz. Diz looks like Ansem. What's up with that? This looks cool.
Yeah, what is up with that?
This looks really fucking cool. I know the answer, unfortunately. This looks really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I really like the kind of like binding tape, not binding tape. Binding, not like breasts, but like
he's transmask, but only for his head.
Only for his head. What I mean is like keeping a spirit within. What's the tape for that? Or what's the, you know what I'm thinking of?
Oh, I vaguely, yeah. I don't know the technical term.
But he's covered in that.
Right now.
And that weird maze on his chest and all of his pockets. He looks like Auron almost. Not really, but almost. So as soon as I met Diz and I realized, oh, he's the voice that's been guiding Riku this whole time. And he sounds like Christopher Lee, but he's not. Gee, I wonder who that could be. But anyway, his whole thing, this whole Ansem thing is clearly gonna be explored more through Diz, and I'm really excited for that. I noticed in the mini map for Castle Oblivion that there was that giant egg, Sora's big giant egg from the start of Kingdom Hearts 2. I do know about that. I know about my summer vacation is come to a close, is over, is gone, is donezo. What the fuck don't tell me, I don't care. So I noticed that and I figured, oh, like I didn't know that would be from here.
Yeah. It goes pretty directly to like being like, oh yeah, here's Sora literally in a pod.
Here's Sora in the egg. And there was a couple of like little end credits things. Hey, wait, whoa. Before I even get here, let me talk about Repliku. And Repliku needs to be talked about for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him.
We haven't talked about Repliku.
Go for it.
Like I said, this is going to be a long episode. You're just going to have to sit down, get a snack, get into a seatbelt, settle down, fuck off. Repliku. Let's talk about Repliku.
Why are you so antagonistic?
I'm really antagonistic because I'm excited and I just woke up. I feel like a bucking bronco who just had like
go on about Repliku.
Who just had like monster energy. And Repliku. Let's talk about Repliku. You ever think about Namine? Let me start with Namine. You know how Namine at the end of the game is like, why? Of course you'd want to forget me, cause I'm nobody. because no one
Yeah.
should love me, because Namine has like a lot of personality problems after years and years of being abused. Um, Repliku
I don't
gets
think I don't think nominees existed for years and years, but go on.
yeah, but she has the toil of years and years. But anyway,
Yeah, well, I mean, when your life starts and you're immediately kidnapped and abused, it's like
it's gonna
you
feel like
don't know
years.
anything else. It may not be years and years, but it's her entire
It's
life,
her entire life.
entire existence.
Let's talk about how
So,
Repliku
yeah.
also goes through that immediately.
Uh-huh.
I mentioned before that Sora is kind of the imaginary friend that Namine has. Repliku is the actual manifestation of that imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Repliku is created. He is aware that he is a replica, and he's like, I'm gonna be better than Riku. And then he is immediately made to forget that. There's this wonderful
Yeah.
scene where Repliku enters the room and Namine is being teased and abused by Larxene, and he says this really heartbreaking thing: "Whatever is happening to you, I'll protect you from it." And he holds out
Yeah,
the
something
little
I
lucky
like
charm,
is that oh yeah, the thing.
the star.
Yeah, the star. Something I like is that despite Replica being created very intentionally and Nominee being created from happenstance, um, Replica is a different kind of fake from Nominee, but to the organization members that are present are treated as just tools in their own little way.
They're entirely tools. Like, they don't get to have
Yeah.
personalities. Like when Larxene talks about Nominee's abilities, it's never like in the context of being a part of a person. It's just, we're going to use you to get out of the organization. We're going to use you to use Sora to get out of here. Which is really saddening. Oh, man, thinking about Axel again. He has that moment with Nominee where he's like, Marluxia isn't looking. You can just get out of here. What the fuck is up with Axel, man?
Yeah, what is up with Axel indeed?
So Repliku and Namine are these like really wonderful characters. First of all, with Repliku, a like common thread across things that I love. I'm a big fan of like the mass production as a trope, I guess, is something that I'm really interested in. I like the idea of things having souls, and I think that Repliku isn't a thing; he's a person, but he's treated as a thing with a soul. And I like that there's a lot more to both him and Namine, who are both seen as these tools. Like, obviously to Sora, they're people. But to the player too, it's you kind of have to decide for yourself how you feel about them. So Repliku is sort of on the cusp there, because you get that cockiness of Kingdom Hearts 1 or Riku, but then you get that more sensitive, immediate. You can't spend too much time on Riku because there's only so much time in Reverse Rebirth. Of him going through like, I'm a fake and that's cool. I'm not a fake. I'm the real Riku. I'm a fake and I hate you. I'm a fake and I'm gonna die. And that's really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That scene I really like. So there's a couple scenes from Kingdom Hearts across the series that I like. But there's one in Kingdom Hearts 3, which is a game that I have not played, but it's a scene that I think about often, where Sora to Luxord, right before Luxord disappears, says, "We should play again when we're both guys." And there's a scene kind of similar in tone in Chain of Memories where Repliku asks Riku, where does my heart go? Where does my soul go when I die? And Riku goes, to the same place as mine, probably. And those are two totally different scenes with vastly different contexts, but they both have this like Pyrrhic kind of reassurance to them, which I really enjoy.
It's like this theme that is like, no matter all these things that you were led to do and seek of a heart, of a self, if you are moving and acting and there's some thought behind your actions, then you have the capacity to be a person and to be and to do good for those around you. And this is consistent for everybody. Like nobody is ever like truly evil.
No. I mean,
every person could do good.
I think that's one of the best parts of Kingdom Hearts so far. Like, no one feels evil. Even Ansem Seeker of Darkness has reasons for doing what he does. Even though all of these characters do bad, there's still I'm predisposed to accepting or believing that there is more light or more good in the world than there is evil. I genuinely think that people can always do good, can always be better, can always do more. And it's been kind of interesting to be told that nobodies have no emotions or no real emotions, but clearly they
that's
do.
The thing that interests me about nobodies, because it's like there's some like journal entries and stuff where it's like they only pretend to have emotions, and it's like I'm not exactly sure how true that is. I think if anything, there's just there's an absence, yes, but I'm not entirely sure that they can't feel anything.
Mm-hmm. And obviously they do feel. I think a lot of the nobodies, they remind me of like some of the darkest parts in my life where I feel like I truly feel nothing. But clearly I do.
Of the times, sometimes it's like you see one of these nobody characters and it feels like when you're going through like a really like heartbreaking time, but somebody makes you laugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like there's still that emptiness, still that achingness, but that doesn't make like your laughter or the emotions that you're feeling like hollow or not real. You may feel hollow, but something that's still reverberating inside you.
There was something that was able to like poke out. There was something that was able to be reached to. And I feel like that's what the nobodies are going to be all about. Obviously, I don't know a lot, and obviously a lot of them are dead. But you know, I'm excited to see that. I think that the Kingdom Hearts deals with a lot of these kinds of mature emotions through this, you know, veil of cartoon cacophony. But like I like knowing, or I like noticing almost immediately that there's a lot to these characters already. They hit the ground running on these kind of big swing emotions that I really appreciate. You know, I don't know. I'm just thinking about where it could go. I guess I need to get where my feelings on Repliku, because I love Repliku as a character. I love Namine as a character. They feel kind of connected to me. Like, I hope in some way.
Well, they are, yeah.
I feel like I want them to reunite. Just because I'm thinking about, obviously Namine believes in Sora. Everyone believes in Sora, but the best that this is gonna sound really bad. The best that Namine got was Repliku, who's someone that's also in the muck and mire of context, in the muck and mire of existence, and I think that they could really help each other. So whenever they meet up again, I'll be very happy. I doubt they will. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't even know if Repliku comes back, because he's just sort of dead. But then again, let me tell you more about the credits of Chain of Memories, because there's a couple of scenes.
The credits are like very important.
The credits are very important. Here's things that I noticed during the credits the first time. So while watching Sora's credits, I only noticed, Xehanort and Ansem. They were in Sora's story. Wonder what that's all about. And failed to notice that there are 2 bonus scenes. Where Repliku talks to Axel, and where Roxas is walking in Twilight Town. And I did not notice this at first. Seeing Roxas technically for the first time is really cool, for one, because there's that really great moment in Chain of Memories where, well, I know Twilight Town is going to be associated with Roxas, but early on players probably didn't. But you get that moment of There was
nobody knew who Roxas was.
No one knew who Roxas was.
Even when you even when you see, you don't know his name.
You don't know his name.
Entire game.
Yeah, you just know little white boy, looking at sea salt caramels or whatever. But you get that moment in Chain of Memories where, you get a world card and you don't know where it's from. Like, I don't remember this. And Sora's kind of like, I guess I must have forgot about this. What was it that Larxian said? It was like from the other side of your heart.
Yeah, from the other side of your heart.
That's really fun. I don't know what is Roxas. Don't tell me. I don't care. But is Roxas like like obviously a nobody, but he looks like Ventus, who I shouldn't know about. Don't tell me anymore. I don't care. But
you keep saying.
I don't know.
I'm not going to say anything to you.
I'm just like, what's his whole deal? Is he like a clone? He's like a separate guy? He's kind of he seems kind of emo from the little scene. You get two. Like you get a new one after you beat Riku, but you get one where he specifically looks at that group.
You get two when you beat Riku. You get the one in Riku's credits, and then you get
That's true. You get the full McCoy,
the full screen of him on the Twilight Town Tower.
It's true. It's just that I'm thinking he looks at the ice cream and he kind of gets that I wish I had that sort of look, and Axe was like, yeah, we should get some ice cream. Also, he's not wearing a robe, which is interesting. Something that Diz mentions near the end of the game is that the organization can't see you, smell you, use their senses if you wear that coat. Roxas isn't wearing a coat, so maybe he's not an organization member yet, but he has that X. And I noticed a lot of fucking X's in this game. Let me tell you, that's a constant theme I've noticed. There are X's. And I refuse to believe that it's just a motif. I'm sure that that's part of it, but I feel like there's far more.
There's many meanings of the X.
I know there's many meanings. I'm sussing it out. So all of the organization members have an X, and I know that
in their name.
Their names. And I know that Xehanort, his name starts with an X. Maybe it's like you said it was a legacy thing. Maybe that's it. But like, there's got to be more to it, right? Like I know
there's always more. There's lots of X's to go.
There's
around.
Lots of X's. Sora has X's across his outfit. I noticed in Halloween.
Riku also does.
Huh?
Riku also does.
Riku also does. But I noticed like in Halloween Town, I think he has more X's. I was thinking a lot. I don't remember if this was on the podcast or if this was like a personal conversation, but I thought it was interesting, specifically in Halloween Town, where Sora gets the biggest costume change. So if you look at Sora's hand, I'm holding up my hand. You can't see it, but I'm holding up my hand.
Unless you count him having dolphin legs.
I'm talking about hands. Yeah, that's a pretty significant. He looks like Fin. It don't matter. Anyway, if you hold out his hand, if you look at his half glove, there is a circle on it. Like on his half glove. You think about circles and you think about symbology. Circles are generally a sign of like, okay, acceptance, like good. In Halloween Town, he gets like an X. He gets a cross, a sign of like, no, conflict, wrong. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what exactly that means yet. And that seems like such a significant change to do. So there's like X's and crosses everywhere. But I think, is it like a form of control? Is it like, I think about what Diz said about eyes, the organization has eyes and ears on you. Unless you wear these coats, which have no visual indication of a cross or an X. It's just detailless. Minus the fact that it's leather, minus the fact that it has dope-ass chains, minus the fact that there are 2 zippers. There are no X's. So is it like a visual indication that the organization has been looking at Sora and Riku and everyone? Like even Mickey has crosses all over his outfit. And I think that's interesting.
That's fascinating. I've never... You've been going on about this whole X thing for a while in my DMs and stuff.
I know.
I've never thought about it like that.
It feels like such a significant thing. Like, well, significant as in, it's not directly mentioned. I doubt there's going to be a moment where Sora, like, looks at his jacket and he's like, was I into X's or something? You know, like there's not going to be a moment like that. But as a player, I'm noticing there's a lot of X's across this game. You know, there's a lot of key, there's a lot of this, that, and the other.
I don't know. Tetsuya Nomura is someone who designed, like, later it just becomes checkers. He's just like checkers now.
I mean, yeah.
Which does have there's some plot stuff with the checkers.
There's absolutely plot stuff with checkers. Like, Sora, you said that the first half of this saga is about Ansem, and the second half is about Xehanort. If you want to think about Sora, and you want to think about Sora's role in the organization, he is a pawn. You know, he is being used as a sacrifice to get to a greater goal, Kingdom Hearts, checkers. And right now, these crosses are symbols that I should
Chess, not check. Oh yeah, the checkers.
The checkers, but
whatever. And go on.
Crosses and X's and keys are this visual motif to represent something. And you think about that Ansem report very like late in Kingdom Hearts 1, where he says the ones that I've created, I've marked with a special symbol, which also has an X.
Yeah.
And how can I not notice these things? There's a connection that's dying to be made here, so of course I'll connect it. And you even think about the Heartless symbol, and even that's got a cross, but it's got a thorned cross, like it's rose bushes or something, which I guess makes sense. You know, Ansem has like this conflicted heart. You think about like, hey, actually, speaking of, you want to know who doesn't have a cross in their outfit, minus the belt? Riku and Repliku. Their Heartless symbol does not have a cross. Which means that they're not necessarily created. Their darkness is their own, that they're fighting through it. I thought that was really cool. I thought, like, oh, maybe it's just a visual indication so that you can tell Repliku is Repliku and Riku is Riku. No, they both don't have that thorned cross.
Yeah, they both don't.
That's really cool to me. They weren't created by Ansem, they were affected by Ansem, but their darkness is their own. I love that. There's so much fantastic visual storytelling across these two games that I am obsessed with. And
yeah,
I don't know, it's exciting to me. I do think that the crosses are gonna play a much bigger role. Like, there are X's in their names, and names are more important than, you know, costume. So, you know, I still think that there's going to be some detail in the plot that will be relevant, and I'm going to feel so vindicated unless I'm not. Don't tell me. I don't care. And when that happens, I'm going to have the biggest shit-eating grin. So be prepared for that. Because I know this is important. To me, it's at least important. So I think that's a question that's going to be
personal meaning is all that matters. Well, not all that matters, but like what you take from
what I take from it is most important. So I think that's going to be an answered question. What's going on with Axel? Another thing. Who Roxas is another thing. Yeah. I like Twilight Town a lot.
Twilight Town is great.
Twilight Town is
love Twilight Town.
Harrowing.
I love being there.
Some about it feels.
It makes me sad and happy and crying and smiling.
Exactly. Like, oh my god, you think about that last line that Riku has in his story, where Diz asks that really weird question, like, are you going down the Twilight Road to Darkness? And Riku says, no, I'm going to it's dawn. I really like that.
I'm taking the middle path. Centrist Riku.
To dawn. Twilight, though, something about Twilight Town makes it seem like the sun is setting. The sun is setting, and there's not a lot of time for Roxas. There's not a lot of time for the people here. It's idyllic for sure, almost like a painting. But I feel like
it's that last, without saying like directly like what happens there. It's like the last moment of happiness before something ends.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And that one line that I know, my summer vacations come to end. Yeah, I guess that feels in line with Roxas's whole deal. I don't know. Twilight Town just makes me kind of sad. So Twilight Town, its whole thing, that's going to be
I'm excited for you to go to the real Twilight Town.
Yeah. It's cool. What I know about Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora technically was never in Twilight Town. And he does go to it in Kingdom Hearts 3, so I'm really curious as to how that feels. But so Twilight Town's gonna be a big answered question. The organization, I hope you get that scene at the end of all of those empty seats and the raised chairs.
The throne room that they have meetings in.
The throne room. I don't.
Well, they're like thrones.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I guess I didn't think of them like that.
Big chair.
The big chair. So that the organization's a big question mark for me. Because we know that they're an organization. We know that they have a superior, who I'm assuming is Xehanort. Or at least related to Xehanort. Or more related to Ansem. Because Zexion and Vexen both mistake Riku for the superior. And the only scent that we know that Riku has in him and around him is Ansem.
Yeah.
And we know that Diz smells different than Ansem, but we know that every organization member smells the same. They stink of darkness. So, okay, it's probably like Xemnas, right? The superior is Xemnas. And so that would be a question. I don't even know who Xemnas is. I don't know about him. I don't know about him. Who knows who he is? I guess a question that I only had near the end of Riku's story is, how did Riku and Nikki meet? Because I noticed, they've been acting really chummy for a while. And
I mean, you do hear them meet in Final Mix.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's that scene where Riku is like, after he fights Sora and he's kind of like listless, he doesn't have anything else because he no longer has Maleficent and Ansem by his side. He hears that voice that's like, I've been trying to find you this whole time.
Oh yeah.
And that's Mickey.
That is Mickey. That's Mickey. Like, I don't know, they seem really close. I like that scene where Mickey's like, "Oh, you don't have to call me that. We're pals." And he's like, "Okay, Mickey." Like, that's fun.
Yeah.
I like.
Well, because it's like that happens, and then like I'd say a couple days pass from when you defeat Riku to when you go and go through the end of the world and fight Ansem. So they've been together that time, and then obviously the end of the game happens, and then a couple weeks pass, and Chain of Memories happens.
I did get that feeling. You mentioned it yesterday when we were talking, but it felt like to me Chain of Memories happened almost immediate after the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, and you were more like, sorry, hiccups. You were more like, no, I think it's been a couple of weeks, and I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, well, so the way I view it is that it's like something about the form of travel that the Sora, Donald, and Goofy have been doing feels like those kind of like, you're just going on. It feels like one of those months of summer where you're kind of like, you're waking up really early and you're feeling really groggy and you're kind of just like wandering around figuring out what to do. It feels like they've had like a good bit of those.
That makes sense. And I think that crossroads is interesting too. I'm thinking about the crossroads again because we see that image in that secret movie, the Final Mix secret movie, and
God, that shot is so good.
I
love that they recreate it in Chain of Memories.
I'm a big fan of it. I like that Sora and Riku both go through that crossroads. Oh man. So there's that gif of Kairi and Namine running down like really womanly down the
Their
stairs.
girl run?
Their girl run. But that's like not in Kingdom Hearts 3 graphics. That's like what Kingdom Hearts looks like. Is that gonna happen in 2? And then there's Axel exploding in the flames. That's probably Kingdom Hearts 2. There's... I'm trying to think of all the like elements of cultural osmosis that I know about. Kingdom Hearts 2 is such a mystery to me. I don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you go through it for the next couple of weeks.
Skateboards. There's skateboards in it.
Yeah, there is skateboards. The skateboards are very fun. They don't do that much, but
it's a toy.
They feel nice. They're fun.
I don't need it to be... I don't need Sora to be like,
You can grind on rails.
That's great. It's
fun.
it's a keyblade that's shaped like a skateboard. You know, I don't care. I want sort
the
of
movement,
skateboard.
all the movement in Kingdom Hearts 2 feels really good.
I'm excited. Hey, something I noticed. Not like story wise or anything. I'm playing on the PS3. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that. I've been playing on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I've been playing the PS4 version.
1.5 and 2.5 are separate copies. When my friend showed me another friend, not a mutual friend, you don't know them, was showing me like his gameplay of Kingdom Hearts, I couldn't help but notice on the PlayStation 4 version, the game is like significantly faster.
Yeah, that'll happen when you port a game to a PS3.
No,
and then port it somewhere else.
That will happen. I'm just thinking like, the game speed is entirely different. So when people are talking about like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 2 feels really fluid, really good, I wonder how that's gonna feel for me that's playing on PS3. Not that there is an issue with me, like I'm not going to purchase another copy of these games. I'm poor. It's just when I was
I don't.
I was
It's like no matter what, you're gonna feel a difference because Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 have a big difference
for sure
in feel.
I'm just surprised that like I don't know, Kingdom Hearts 1 looked so fluid, and there's very scant moments across Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories that were frames per second doesn't really matter to me. It's not something that's important, but I did notice that there were some moments in Chain of Memories that were in 60 FPS, like very very few, but most of it was like sub 30 and felt kind of sluggish, and I was like, oh, okay, that's just a part of the game feel, that's fine. But I wonder if there's any kind of conceivable difference in game speed, since like PS4 version seems a little bit clocked up.
Yeah, I genuinely couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about that. Now that I know about it, I'm like curious, but I don't want to spend money on a PS4 version. There's cute little themes that you get in the PlayStation 3 version.
Yeah, I like the themes.
I like the themes. I'm glad that they do that for the PS4 version.
Yeah, I wonder if I've never played 2.8, so I don't know if 2.8 does it, but I'm excited to see if they do.
I'm really surprised. I don't know if I'm gonna play Dream Drop Distance on the PlayStation 4 or if I'm gonna play it on 3DS. Chris,
it's functionally it's just they don't like, because Dream Drop Distance doesn't have any other versions. They don't add anything. I don't think that isn't already just in the 3DS.
There's not like a final mix.
Go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because even Birth by Sleep has a final mix.
Really?
Yeah. That's what the HD version is. It's final mix.
So I have to play that.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. I was really excited to whip out my PSP. Anyway, I guess I'll figure that out. What was my point? I had a point. I had a whole point.
I don't know.
Oh no, my point. It's gone. Our table. It's broken. Shit. Nuts. I completely forgot it.
So do you want to wrap up?
I think we should probably wrap up.
Yeah, okay. This has been a very... Sorry if it's a bit messier. We're both very tired today.
Yeah.
But I hope you had fun. We'll be back.
Do you have anything to plug?
No, I'm on the finishing touches of audio editing on a video right now that is not going to be out by the time I post this. So...
I mean, that's...
You?
Do I have anything to plug? Ooh, do I? Yeesh. I think last episode I said don't follow me on my socials. This episode, I'm going to say follow me only on Tumblr, which is URL Beam Javelin.
Yeah, Beam Javelin.
Spelled in the ways that you expect. All one word.
BEAM. Javelin.
Javelin. I have other things.
I don't feel like puggling my socials.
I'm not. Feel free to follow me on Tumblr. That's it. That's all I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll be back in April to talk about some Kingdom Hearts 2. We probably won't have finished it.
Hey, I don't know about that. Well,
because it's longer than Chain of Memories. So this one I planned out to be like, okay, well, you're close to the ending, so we'll record after you finish because you're basically almost done. So,
I mean, unless I blitz through Kingdom Hearts 2.
I think that's it. So Bye. Until next time.
Until a
Smile.
time where you are